What's up, Tube? Welcome to Low Guido's Chop Shop, where it's mailbag time. This is the segment where I open up some mail that I've received, and we can all find out what it is together. That's interesting. A box covered in warnings. What is... Oh my gosh. Oh dear. It's a Deagle from East Coast Custom Blasters. You Danny. So nice to me. I hope that I can have more fun with this one than I did with my Tokyo Marui. I realise the light is a little bit bright here, so let me just turn it down a bit. Hater tears inside. Nice. Oh man. Oh, and look, it's a mag with a mag lip that's actually somewhat solid. It's probably not indestructible. I think it is 3D printed, but it's 3D printed using a different technique. It's not resin print, and then it's not, this is FDM print. So that's FDM, or just your normal filament printing. But this is a different type. Let's, oh, I'm getting into the mag lips before I've even opened up the blaster. But you know, that's where we are at with these things. Can I just do the mag? Can we look at the mag first? Is that fine? So we've got the mag lips here, which this is like some sort of sintered style of printing, and that one is obviously FDM, which is the traditional filament style, but this is some sort of sintered printing. But look at this as well. The actual mag has been machined inside here. And that means, let me get some gels to see what we can put inside this. Hold on. Alright, for those watching at home, or for those in YouTube land, this is an Orbi. It's a super absorbent polymer that basically squashes into little pieces on impact. It's benign, harmless, biodegradable, all that sort of stuff. So that's what these take. They're not harmful, they're not a firearm, they're not dangerous, just so that YouTube knows not to ban me. Alright, let's see what this... Alright, I just loaded that in. Let's see what this takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's at least 14. I think there's 14 in there, and that was just a really quick load. I didn't specifically try to jam more in. I could probably like squeeze another one in there. This is... Oh man. I'm super excited. I hope this feeds and works as well as it should, because I've had a history with Desert Eagles that hasn't been a particularly good one. I own a Desert Eagle, but it's never really actually seen, it's definitely never seen gameplay, and it's never really come out of its box. So let's get this one out of its box and take a look. Okay, this is the cybergun Desert Eagle Noir from East Coast Customs. Here's the mag that I've loaded up. This thing is weighty. It's, I believe it's metal. I think it's a cast alloy. It's definitely not plastic like the Tokyo Marui. It's got a lot of weight. I mean, the TM was no lightweight, but this thing has got some heft to it, and I am hoping that the kick is what it deserves to be for a Desert Eagle. And this is a East Coast Customs blaster, and there's a lot of talk on the internet about East Coast Customs. And I mean, let's be real, Danny. Danny, you gotta reel it in sometimes. You can overstep boundaries on the internet sometimes. I love you, but you know, you you can say some things to upset some people, and I know you got no shame in that, and you don't care because you're fueled by haters' tears. I get it, but you know, sometimes you got to just pretend the customer is right. But a lot of people say, why is East Coast, like, why are their prices more expensive than, say, you know, anywhere else? It's just because of the little things that he puts in, like, you know, the machining work on this mag. And if you notice in here, you'll notice this section of the chamber is actually polished to a mirror finish and smoothed out, and that is for purpose when you load this. So when you drop that slide, it's gonna push that Orbi in, and it's gonna hit that nice smooth polished surface, and it's gonna feed that into the chamber without an issue. And Danny takes apart every single blaster and polishes all the little internal parts to make sure that there's no burrs or there's nothing that could stop the blaster from operating smoothly. And he does that with every single blaster that he sells, and that's like hours upon hours of work that he puts into every single blaster that he sells. So people are asking, why is he charging more for a blaster than, say, some other shops might? Well, it's not only is it in the quality of the blaster, but it's also in the work that he puts in, and I feel that needs to be said. And I'm not just saying that because like Danny's not paying me to say this or anything like this. I'm just saying this because it's a thing about business. I, believe it or not, you may not know, but I used to sell blasters, and people would always come to me and say, why are your blasters like $20 more than, you know, eBay or whatever? And it's because I would actually take them apart and make sure they work before I sold them. So and that's a service. It's got to cost money. It costs time. Anyway, I want to, before I talk for too long, I want to chrono this thing. Alright, here we go. Hey, look at that. The mag empty. Alright, let's take a look there. Max of 304, min of 213, average of 252, not too bad. There was a couple of low ones there, but I was getting a bit of cool down on the gas, which is to be expected. I'm using standard propane, so I might be able to get better results with a different gas. But all in all, I'm just happy that it cycled, fed, and fired. Alright, here we go. Alright, what do we get there? 10 shots through out of 12, so there are a couple that didn't feed, but we got an average of 284. We got a max of 313. That's some powerful numbers for a pistol. This thing certainly packs a bit of a wallop, maybe not so much directly in the power department. I mean, it is a powerful pistol. So I was getting up to around 300 FPS at times, but the recoil of it is something else as well. Like, it really packs a bit of a punch in your hand, and I attribute that that's probably somewhat to do with the weight of the blaster. So the whole thing is 1,323 grams. 23. So that is 1.3 kilos. It's got a bit of heft to it. And the action, let me just take this down. So we've got the mag release here, and then we've got the slide release here. So I'm not certain if you need to rack it, but I'm going to rack it anyway. Press here, push this release, and slide the whole barrel. Those springs. Now, so the barrel actually stays put. I'll just set that aside here. Let me just weigh the part that actually cycles here. So the 238 grams just in the slide. So that's the weight that is that is moving in your hand. Yeah? You like that, do you, Rems? Now the barrel is fairly weighty as well. I've got a scale here. I'm going to weigh it. There's 230 just in the barrel assembly there. So, alright, I'm going to stop weighing things now. We're done with that. Just because I wanted to see the weight of the thing, particularly this. That's what I wanted to weigh. It's not that heavy, but the whole thing, when everything comes together, it's quite weighty. I want to have a look at the barrel. Have a look at the barrel. I believe this pin pops here, one way or the other. There we go. Alright, and then the barrel comes out. There we go, and you can see there is a nice long brass barrel polished. I will get my caliper and give that a measure. Just make sure 0. .2. Close enough to it. And the length is almost long enough that I can, or almost short enough that I can measure it with the verniers. 127 mils. Call it 128. 128 mils long. Now, one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, you got this really cool compensator here, but the barrel actually rides halfway down it, so you can see it through the compensator there. I don't know, it just messes with my vibe, messes with the aesthetic vibe of it. But I mean, that doesn't affect the performance of it all. Everything's got this really nice matte black finish, and I don't actually know how to take apart the frame of this, but I'm going to assume that I knocked this pin out to get to the hammer unit. I don't know that I'm going to go that deep into it at this stage. There's probably not much need for me to go that far into it, but it does look pretty solid. This is the slide catch, and then on the side of the magazine here there's this little piece here, which actually is what pushes that up. So the slide does catch when it's on empty. In fact, I did have a couple of instances where it for some reason caught when it wasn't on empty. I'm not quite sure what that is about just yet. Well, the mag lips are still intact, which is a good thing. They've lasted a couple of mags now, so it's already doing better than my last eagle. I'm just going to whack all this back together, pop the barrel back in, pop this pin back in. I do like the way this assembles. It actually makes a bit more sense than the TM. This just pops back in here, and then you got the two springs, the twin recoil spring. It's a bit weird actually how they have these two springs and they sort of can individually move away from each other. The TM version has them a little bit more restrained, but I worked out if I hold this upside down and slide the whole frame in while it's upside down, it's pretty easy to sort out. And I just got to pop this pin back in, like that. There we go. Nice. Just check that the slide cycles. That enormous chamber for that enormous round, the 50 AE that would go in the real steel. Oh, looks pretty sweet. I'm pretty happy with the look of it and the operation. Let's actually have a close look here now. Let's take some close-up looks. Look at this. Look at this detail. You can see the safety there with a little red dot saying it's armed. You can see the Magnum Research engraving or stamping, however you want to call that one. Then on the other side you can see Desert Eagle pistol and the .50 50 Action Express marked on the muzzle. See the tack rails and that nice matte black finish, and then you can see the barrel poking through that compensator there. That's that I don't particularly like. I feel like it would be super disappointing for me to not compare this with my Tokyo Marui. side by side. They definitely both look amazing. They've got different aesthetics for each one. This one's got obviously the chrome, and this one's got the newer, more tactical style with the rails. I'm not quite sure whether there's, I don't know, you'd think I'd know the story of Desert Eagles, but this one's the Israeli Military Industries, and this one's Magnum Research. So I don't know if there's like a difference in manufacturers, and that's, but I mean the basic aesthetic is very similar. The general shape, aside from the the tactical rails and stuff, and of course this one is, well, it's a little bit disappointing in terms of the conversion quality, but nonetheless, I don't know. I've just got this. I got this thing for Desert Eagles. I don't know what it is. I just love them. I love them, and I mean, it's hard for me to say a bad thing about it, even if there is something wrong with it. For what it's worth, I guess we'll bring back in the scale. I'll chuck it on the scale. 1164. So even the Tokyo Marui is no lightweight. It's no lightweight, that's for sure. It does have some mass to it, but this one has a little bit more mass. It has a little bit more reliability. It's got the power as well. It's got a bit more FPS than the Tokyo Marui. Not that that's anything to do with Tokyo Marui, so keep that in mind. But yes, the East Coast Custom Blasters build is definitely of a higher quality, higher conversion quality, that is for certain. I don't know if the mags are compatible between the two of them. Might as well try it out. I've got them both here. They look similar. They look very similar. No, that doesn't work. Okay. There you go. The mags don't appear to be compatible. I feel like at this point it's probably got to be worth comparing the magazines. I've got the 3 Desert Eagle magazines. So I've got the Tokyo Marui mag here, I've got the HFC mag here, and I've got the East Coast Customs mag here, and it's just worth noting that it's clearly visible the amount of effort that's been put into, say, this mag here versus this one, which looks like it's had absolutely no modifications done from when it was hard polymer. And generally speaking, even just getting the gels in, you've got to squeeze them in through these lips, and more often than not I end up breaking the gels. And Tokyo Marui is very similar. It does have a wide lip at the bottom there, but I feel like there's not much love being put in here. In fact, this lip's quite scuffed up for reasons I don't really understand. It could probably do with a polish just to make it a bit smoother, because any of these rough edges on these mags will tear open a gel, because you'll find that even though the gel is it can be quite hard, they market them as hardened. If you get even the slightest rough edge, like without too much effort, you will tear them apart. So just a slight nick and they will get torn apart. And the same with those edges of those magazines. If you get a gel on the edge of that, it's going to get torn up. I just put that one into the spring, which was a terrible idea, what I was thinking, but they will get torn up on any non-rounded edge. So I mean, I just think it's worth mentioning this for the effort that you can see has been put in. People might think that I'm shilling for Danny or something, but I feel like this picture, this picture speaks 1,000 words. Just take that in for a moment. Also, just quickly while we're comparing here, you can see that the TM and the HFC both have this different style of mag lip and seal arrangement to the Cyber from East Coast Customs, so that explains why they don't fit. Alright, well, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. This has been a bit of a surprise for me. This is Danny surprised me with this one. I was not expecting to see it. That's that's for sure. Thank you very much, Danny, for surprising me with the Desert Eagle. And also thank you very much to those of you who have bought a patch from me, or if you've bought me a coffee in the link below there. Shout outs to Adam Hoy, shout outs to Wild Ayanami, and shout outs to Lennox Black for buying me a coffee. Thank you very much. Peace.